So right now, we have some squash plants right here that I planted late and are doing really well. Got some watermelon that are planted late. Shalom, falling ashore. Welcome again to the rock. And it's doing well. You can see it's doing well. A little praying mantis right there. That's not what the video is about. The video is about all this. For those that understand agricultural living, you understand that this is a covering. And this covering protects the soil. It protects the soil from the heat. So the soil is able to retain water. When it rains, the soil gets wet. And if you don't have a covering over it, oftentimes you'll get a lot of evaporation and faster evaporation from the moisture in the soil. But by putting a leaf cover or a covering on it, it retains water in the soil, protects the root zones from burnout, insulates the soil. It helps prevent the things that you don't want growing from growing. So it chokes out those things and kills those things that you don't want growing in the soil. So these are just all some squashes that, probably like 6 or 7 squash plants that made it through. That's why you have a covering. You see right here, you see some figs on 2 of my many fig trees. But you see, it's all covered. In the wintertime, it prevents the soil from washing away on heavy rains or the snow, and the snow melts, will prevent it from washing away. A covering is very important. And for those that have the ears to hear, you sisters, specifically for y'all, a covering is very important. It does more than you think it does. Look at this. I have not watered these squash plants one time outside of the one rain we got probably 6 weeks. And look at them. Because of the covering, they are still able to find water. And when it rained, and it rained pretty heavy a couple days ago, all these leaves retain all that moisture. All that life-giving water was retained underneath these leaves. Underneath these leaves right now, the soil is still wet, even though we've had a couple days of 100-degree weather. See, if you're not covered, if the soil is not covered, look at what the dirt looks like. This is what my plants will be trying to grow into. Do you see any moisture in that? Do you see any life-giving water in there? No. It's bone dry. Bone dry. But because of that, of the moisture in the soil, and because of the covering, if I move these leaves away, let me see. If I move these leaves away, look at how dark already. See the moisture in the soil? Look at this. Look at the difference of the color. That color to this color. Dry, still has life-giving water. Look at that. Still moist. And all this breaks down to continue to provide life for the plant. Starting to understand the importance of covering. Agriculturally, those of us who grow our food, we understand this. It's a shame that we've gotten out of touch with our agricultural ways to the point where we don't understand the simplicity of covering. Of a simple covering. And all this breaks down to provide life for the plant. Life for my amaranth. Life for my squash. And we're about to get ready to plant in here for our summer garden. Well, now all I do is I scoop the soil or the leaves back, dig a row in the soil, plant in the soil, and when they sprout, the sprouts will actually shoot their roots into the zones where the leaves are, because that's where the moisture is. There's a lot we can learn from the old paths, like how truly important a covering is, and all the different things that a covering protects you from. But you know what? There's still going to be those that continue to tell themselves they don't need a covering. And you're right. You may not need a covering. But then look at the results of the greenery growing without it. Something to think about for the next time you say, I don't need no covering. Shalom.